you already know what time it is. It's your boy Mack B. Welcome back to Sports Hop. We're back at it. We're back in the building. Episode 60 is on and popping. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all the love and support. We are growing and building together. And speaking of growing and building, I got a special guest on the couch today. I got the lovely, talented, the one and only, the songbird. I got Nelly Candy Bug in the building. What's up, mama?
Man, thank you so much for having me. This is so awesome. I'm so excited to be here and talking with you.
Hey, we are excited for you to be here as well. So that's a family affair. We're going to jump right in. So you originally grew up in Oakland.
Yeah, so
in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, in the Bay Area. So my family had a house and still has a house in Alameda.
Okay.
But I went to school in Oakland. So I went to middle school, high school from the time that I was like 9 years old to 18. And I spent pretty much like 16 hours just of every day because I went to an art school. Right. So my mom would drop me off at like 6:30 in the morning and I would go home sometimes to like 8 or 9 p.m. after rehearsals. I'd spend weekends in Oakland. I mean, that's really, really where I did like those formative years. Yeah.
That's official town business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Shout out to the Yay. I mean, I got all kinds of partners from the Bay Area, especially Oakland.
Yeah.
But that's definitely dope. And the history of Oakland is so deep, right? You know.
Yeah. And
talk about that cultural element of the Bay and Oakland and what it brought to you in your world.
Yeah, I mean, Oakland was such an incredible place to grow up and, become formed because it's so diverse. And, I remember when I was going to the school, in my first couple years, I was the only person there that looked like me.
Okay.
It was me and like a couple other people, so I was exposed to a lot of diversity and it was wonderful. And through the diversity, we got a lot of really incredible artists, musicians. We had a lot of really great sports players. It was a really, really cool place. It's very dynamic, and when you go to Oakland, you see murals everywhere. And, back when I was there, Oakland's changed a little bit since the pandemic, but, people were playing music on the street. People were running around. I mean, it was just such a cool place. There's nothing like it.
Right. Let's talk about the family dynamic, right? You were adopted. Shout out to your family, your parents. Let's give them some love. Talk about the family element, being adopted. What was that like for you in that environment? And also, you're of Russian heritage, right?
Yep.
So talk about those two worlds and how that resonates with you.
Yeah, so I was born in St. Petersburg.
Okay.
And my mom and dad had my sister biologically, but then, my mom was like, she couldn't have another kid. And so they really wanted to adopt. And my mom's, I think like her grandmother is from Estonia. And so she knew the kind of region that she wanted to adopt from.
Right.
And so then they went through this adoption agency and they found me. And, I guess they were sent pictures and then they were like, okay, we want this one. And, and then they went through a lot to get me. The story is a really incredible one. Like they went back to Russia and then, the Russians made it hard for them in the end. And then my mom was like, no, we got to take, like, this is my baby, you know? And so from the very beginning, my parents never hid it from me. They always told me. They were like, you're adopted, but we love you so much, we had to have you, Yeah. So for me, people always ask, when did they tell you or was it weird? What's it like? But for me, it's only brought more and more love and purpose into my life, Because my parents were so intentional about me. And from the beginning, I started singing when I was 5, My parents aren't musicians at all. But they nurtured and really watered my passion. And so I ended up with the best life I could have, the most supportive family. I love my sister, the most incredible life. I love the story.
Right. That is dope. And love is what brings it all full circle, right?
Yeah, because we all go through so much. And I know I've gone through a lot in life, but to have the support system that is my parents and my family and, even my family on the East Coast, there's nothing like it. I'm really blessed.
That's dope. And you just indicated that, you started singing when you were 5 years old, right? Talk about that whole musical influence, because I know the family, as dope as they are, they weren't really musically inclined in that direction. But what particular artist or a song or a moment can you kind of reflect back and go back in the time machine and kind of share with everybody watching the show? How did it all start for you, especially at such a young age where you were grounded to say, hey, this is my calling, this is what I love?
Yeah. So I actually remember the exact time. So even though my dad's not a musician, he has wonderful taste in music.
Right.
And pretty much my whole family does. He loves Motown.
Okay.
You know, so he would play
He's
a lot
an
of
old
Motown
soul.
for me. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed that down to me. So he would play Motown and, you know, a lot of Stevie records, but he also loved Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
And so when I was 5, he gave me this Phantom of the Opera CD. And my parents told me about this moment. I was playing it in my CD player so much that it was the most scratched up CD that I had. That one and an Ella Fitzgerald and like Frank Sinatra compilation CD.
Right.
But I remember I was singing it, and my parents, I guess, you know, came to the door and they were like, that's not how a 4 or 5-year-old sounds. Like, that's not the voice, you know? And from then I had really good pitch, like good intonation, and I was really good at emulating tones that I was hearing. So I emulated a lot of, you know, the opera, a lot of Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, Mel Torme, you know, all of those people. And so
Legends.
man,
Classics.
And I'm lucky that I got exposed to them at such a young age, because it deepened my understanding and appreciation of music, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, when I was 5, there was a school talent show, and it was like, I guess I'm gonna sing this Phantom of the Opera song a cappella. And from then I just stood on the stage and I sang, and I was like, well, I don't know why everybody's clapping. Can everybody do this? Like,
Were you nervous at all?
No, I just wanted to be there. The nerves came later. Yeah, the nerves came later.
Though.
Yeah, it was supernatural, because I was doing it in my room, and in my room I knew that I loved it, so there was no difference stepping on stage and doing it in my room.
Right.
You know? And then there was a jazz artist in the audience who was the mother of one of my friends at school, and she's like, you need to come with me. So then she started working with me, and I did my first like jazz performance when I was 9, and it's on YouTube, actually.
Okay.
It's so funny. It's like still there. And from then,
That's
the rest
dope.
is history.
That is dope. That's an amazing journey.
Yeah, so it was my dad.
Right. Shout out to Pops, by
Yeah.
the way. Make
Hi,
sure
Bill.
you tap in. Speaking of journey, let's talk about the transition from Oakland. Shout out to the town. I got a lot of player partners down there. Shout out to Oakland. But let's talk about your transition from the Bay Area and then coming up to Southern Cal and being in LA, Hollywood, because they're both dope cities, but they're very, very different, in style and contrast. So talk about that transition from Oakland to LA and what that's been like for you.
Yeah, I think definitely I experienced a culture shock, you know, because as dope as LA is, you got to weed through a lot of things. You really got to find your people. And I think in the Bay Area, it's a lot easier for me to kind of stumble upon my kind of people. But here I've had to really like look for them, especially a part of an industry that's so highly competitive. You know, competition does things to people, you know?
Right.
And especially when you're someone that's committed to being genuine and steadfast in your career, and you want to build a career that's gonna last, and it's built on talent and passion, you know, you're gonna have to weed through some things here.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But LA's dope. I mean, the culture here is also one of a kind.
Yeah.
And, you know, in just the short, you know, few years that I've been here, the strides that I've made, I mean, I'm so grateful to this place. I got a lot of gratitude for LA.
Yeah, you're a grinder, I can tell.
Yeah.
With a capital G, by the way.
Hell yeah.
A real grinder. That's what I love. You know, the drip game is real. You already know what time it is.
Man.
What compelled you to want to come to LA? Was there a particular moment, or did you feel like you needed to change an environment, or was it more you felt you had a better chance to connect with the industry? Because the industry's in both places. You can still make it happen in the Bay. But what was there a particular moment or a situation that said, you know what, let me kind of do a 180, still tap in with the town, right?
Sure.
Still have a presence in Oakland, but let me come check in LA and kind of see what's happening over there.
Yeah, so I actually, after I graduated from Berklee College of Music in 2020, I was gonna go to New York.
You were
New
in
York.
Boston at that
I
time.
was at Boston. New York was my number one. I was
Okay.
like, I'm moving to New York. You know, like I said, my mom's from New York. I told you that. And so I was like, man, I'm going to New York. But then my manager at the time was down here. And he was like, you got to come here and at least see LA. And then I recorded my first ever single at Capitol Records. And I was like,
The OG Capitol building?
yeah.
You were, okay.
Hell yeah.
Right there off of Vine?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at Capitol Records. And, you know, this was
Dope.
back in 2019. And he's like, see, you know, there's a lot of stuff here for you. And so even though we've since parted ways, I still remain really grateful for that experience because he really planted the seeds of, like, you know, certain connections that would become just wildly important to me now, you know, very fundamental to the moves that I've been able to make now. So
Right.
that's really what did it. I realized that there's a lot here. And even, you know, I believe I went to a random Starbucks and I like met someone that, or I ran into someone that I knew from Berklee College of Music. They know this person and this person. And then everything happened so fast. I'm
Domino
like,
effect.
yeah, I'm like, you gotta be here. Even with this.
Yeah.
You know, we met at the Grammy party and
Yeah.
now I'm here. It's like, you gotta be here.
Right.
You can't miss those nuances.
Right. Speaking of the party, shout out to the homie Sky.
Thank you, Schyler.
Who put that together. Talented
Thank
artist,
you.
producer, event planner. Shout out to Sky. You gonna get on this show sooner than later, homie.
Yeah.
Speaking of preparation and things of that nature, talk to me about your creative process in the studio, because everybody works and flows differently,
Yeah.
right? What is that like for you when you go in? Do you write a record on the spot? Do you kind of vibe with the track and then maybe take it home with you for like a couple days and kind of breathe on it? Or are you kind of spontaneous, or is it a little bit of both? Talk to me about that creative process when you in the lab cooking
Yeah. Hell yeah. All
with a
of
big spoon.
all the utensils.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean all of the above. Like, you know, my process has really changed since being in LA. When I went to Berklee College of Music, everything was like pre-charted, everything was written out. You knew exactly what you were gonna do. You knew everything that was gonna happen, you know? And that's a cool thing, you know, it has its place. But when I got here, the way that people worked in the studio was very different. It was almost like a culture shock. You know, we play music back and forth and then we catch a vibe and then we start creating. I also produce, so I work on Logic, Pro
Dope.
Tools, Ableton. You know, I studied abroad in Spain, studying how to work and record on Pro Tools. So I do a lot of audio engineering myself and producing, you know.
Look at
So
you. A one-stop wrecking shop over here.
man, I was telling you the other night at the party, when you're really passionate about something,
Yeah.
you want to know all aspects. Like your hunger for that subject is never satiated. You want to just do more and more and learn more and more. And that's how I've been with music. So I mean, I play multiple instruments, I write, I arrange, like
Dope.
you know, it's
What do you
it's all
play?
that. I play guitar, piano, drums, I beatbox. I want to start learning bass. I want to start learning violin when I get
Okay.
the time. But my process in the studio now is like, you know, we get in the studio, we catch a vibe first, everybody kind of settles in, and then we just start creating. You know, sometimes when I'm working with somebody else, they'll already have a beat, and then I just gotta write something on top of it, like melody and lyrics, which I love. But you know, a lot of the time we're just starting from scratch.
Right.
And it's amazing. I love working like that
Yeah.
because it brings about an entirely different result when you're in that moment and both of you are tapped into the same energy.
Yeah.
Like you create something totally different, and I love it.
You got such a broad scope of range, you know, because you can go from one spectrum all the way to the other side. I love that. I don't see that all the time, you know, so shout out to you. Everybody watching the show, we got Nelly Candy Bug in the building. We got a special treat for you. She's going to deliver a hot new record, so keep it locked. You're watching Sports Hop with Mack B. I got Nelly in the building as well.
Late text, still up. Wasn't ready for the day to be over. I'm stuck, can't get you out of my head. I've been waiting, then you hit my phone. Do you wanna come over? easy with you. The way you touch me got my body in motion. Keep it up and keep it going. Wanna make you fall in love with me. Oh, hold me close. Don't you dare let go. Yeah, yeah. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. Say I'm not alone in how I feel. I don't wanna go home when I'm with you. When I'm with you. Oh, late at night when you call me, and that feeling hits us both. Can we go all night? You know what I need, baby. Put it on repeat, baby. Late at night when you call me, and that feeling hits us both. Can we go all night? You know what I need, baby. Put it on repeat, baby. Late at night when you call me, and that feeling gets us both. Can we go all night? You are what I need, baby. Put it on repeat, baby. So give me that call in the morning. Give me that call. Yeah. Call. Give me that call. Give me that call in the morning. Give me that call. Give me that call in the morning. Give me that call.
Wow, that was fire. Late at Night. I love that record. We got Nelly Candy Bug in the building. Now, you co-produced that joint with the homie Sky, right?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Sky.
And it was fun. It was
Yeah.
such a fun process. He's such a cool person to create with.
Right, right. I just crossed paths with him recently, but the vibe was right and the energy. So I'm all about the energy, and he seems like a really cool cat. And shout out to Sky for doing things and doing big things. Now, how long did it take you to put that track together? Was it kind of just on the spot, impromptu, like you didn't really plan it, or?
Yeah, we didn't plan it. That was one of the situations where we just sat down. We were playing a bunch of music. I played some DJ Quick. He played some like Warren G. And
Shout out to Quick and the G Funk.
Oh, hell yeah. Big shout out to Quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, he's one of my favorite all-time producers. But
Dope.
yeah, so we were just, throwing things back and forth. And it was so funny because at one point, and Sky and I talk about this all the time, but when we were throwing music back and forth, he didn't know the kind of music I listened to. So when I was playing like the West Coast G-Funk, Quick, like deep cuts and everything, he turns to me because I was sitting behind him and he goes, "Where did you say you're from again?" He's like, "Where are you from?"
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he was like, "Wait, you put this on?" So yeah, it was really fun. And then we just kind of put the beat together. And then it was actually the first time I created like this. We made the beat, and then he had me just ad lib, and then we put words to the ad libs. And so that's why the melody is so is the way it is. It's very melodic, and it's kind of up and down because I was just doing some riffs and then we put words to it. And yeah, I love it.
Wow, that's dope. That's dope. Now, has this record been released?
No, it hasn't been released, but we debuted it actually. We did a debut performance with Schyler's production company a little while ago. So the release date is going to be very soon because we have a few media things to put together for it.
Right.
But I've already performed it, at his event, and yeah, so it's already kind of out there. People have already kind of heard it. If you know, you know.
I'm rocking with it late at night,
Yep.
I'm rocking with it. I like the vibe. I like the swag. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Schyler as well, man. We're going to get you on the couch soon, player.
Yep.
So keep it locked for that. Let's talk about, you away from music, away from the mic, because you're so creative, you're so talented. I know the juices are flowing all the time to want to create, right? But sometimes we need some downtime or maybe kind of step away for a minute. What do you like to do in your downtime, your free time?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things is to play football.
Okay.
I love playing
You actually
football.
play football?
No, like when I told you I play football.
Tackle.
I play football. People are afraid to tackle me. And I mean, duh, I'm like 2 feet tall. Like no man's gonna come over and just like knock me over.
Yeah.
But like I'll play the game. Like just shy of being completely pummeled to the floor. Like I'm in there playing football. And it was funny because actually back in the Bay, there's a football coach there, and he and I were playing a lot during the pandemic. And he was like, with the way that I was throwing and everything, he's like, if you were a boy, you'd be on my team. So like I love just going and, we'll get a few people together and then I'll play QB,
Okay. You got that arm, you got that cannon, okay.
Yep, I keep a football with me.
Really?
Yeah, so I love playing football.
One right
I
here.
peeped that. Yep. Yep. I got my spirals on lock. Hell yeah.
Right.
And then aside from sports, because I love all different kinds of sports. I also love tennis. I was on a swim team. I was on a soccer team. I love sports.
Right. Did you play sports in high school?
Actually, no, because my high school, it's funny. It's in the Fox Theater in Oakland. So it's actually in an office and theater building.
It's an art school.
Yeah, so we didn't have any sports teams, but what we did do was we went to the Sharks ice skating rink across the street from my school. And we did like figure skating and ice skating. So that was PE for us. Right. Or Coach Coleman, shout out to Coach Coleman. He would have us run around the block a million times because that's about all we could do in Oakland, Yeah, but aside from that, I do makeup. I've been a makeup artist. Okay. Yeah. Oh. So that was my first job when I was in Berklee College of Music and I wanted to get a little side job. I started working for Mack Cosmetics and then I started doing freelance, and then I worked for Ulta, Sephora, like Benefit, all these different makeup brands. Okay. Yeah.
Wow, that is dope. What don't you do, Miss Nelly Candy Bug?
I mean, I love doing things. Like I don't like wasting days.
Right.
I'm up early and I love just getting to it, whatever that means. I don't waste a single day. I love making the most out of life.
Right. Time utilization is essential. Big time, so I respect that.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to the sports. So I'm an NFL guy. Shout out to the NFL. Oh, yeah. I'm a media member with the NFL, so I do some coverage during the Super Bowl time. But Broncos are my squad. Shout out to Bo Nix. I'm excited. I think we actually have a chance this year to win the AFC West. Kansas City's taken it over like 8 consecutive years. Shout out to the Chiefs. I got to show my respect, right? But I think Denver's on the come up.
My dad's watching this. I can't speak to the other teams. I'm not allowed. Oh. I got to keep it tight-lipped unless it's a
I hear you. I'm not mad at you. So that was my next question. So who is your team?
The Steelers, man. Okay. And I'm the kind of Steelers fan, like, I got Levi's jackets with Steelers. I got the terrible towels, I remember when my dad's
you an OG fan.
Oh, man. Yeah, like I was indoctrinated young. Like my dad's dad, when he was still alive, he had his terrible towels and I would sit on his lap and I'd be like, what's this? And I'd like spin it around and he's like, you're a Steelers fan. Like we are Steelers fan. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to make you proud. Like I'm a Steelers fan. Go Steelers. Yeah. And my mom's a Niners fan. Okay. But the funny thing is, I used to call them the 40 Go Niners because my dad would always say Go Niners. And so I used to call them the 40 Go Niners. So like all throughout being a kid, and I think it took me until high school that people were like, what are the 40 Go Niners? And I was like, oh, 49ers. Yeah. Okay. Well, so I was a sponge.
Yeah, no, that's dope. The NFL season is only about 90 days away, so time flies. But I am excited because next year in February, the Super Bowl is going to be in the Bay Area. It's going to be in San Francisco on the turf.
Yep.
So we got a lot of big things, by the way, planned for that particular time of year. So keep it locked with Sports Hop for all the latest updates regarding that. We won't let the cat out of the bag just yet. Even though he's meowing right now.
He's scratching.
He's scratching and clawing.
At it, yeah.
So you mentioned tennis and do you basketball, Warriors. Who's your squad?
Warriors. Like I got Warriors.
Right.
Full stop, Warriors. But I'm not as big in
football is the main thing.
Football's my thing. I do try to play basketball, but again, the whole Me being 2 feet tall kind of gets in the way at times, but I can make a good 3.
Okay, you outside, you got some range, you can light it up. Okay.
Yeah.
You a lefty or a righty?
I'm a righty.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can make a good 3, but I think that's just because I have good aim. If you try to catch me dribbling, you're gonna get the ball. I'm gonna trip. You're gonna win. It's game over.
Right.
You know.
You just pass me the rock so I can just shoot it.
Exactly.
I don't need to do anything. I don't even need to move.
No, I'll stay. Matter of fact, I'll stay right here. I'm good right here. Post it up. Yeah.
Right. That's dope. Sports is always, has a special place in my heart because, it kept me off the streets. It taught me a sense of responsibility, values. A lot of people don't realize how significant, sports can be, and it can be very impactful, with the emotional component and the development of boys and girls.
And there's such an underrated aspect of intelligence when it comes to sports as well.
Yeah.
Because, when you watch really incredible players like, I know I said I'm not really that big into basketball, but Michael Jordan is like one of my biggest influences. I know, I peeped that. Don't worry.
Hey, Mike.
I peeped it. But, there's such an intelligence that comes along with it. And so when you start sports at a young age, like you obviously get the spatial awareness in your body, and that's its own kind of intelligence, but then also like being adaptable and being able to like move quickly and read people and where are you going, what are you going to do. It's like chess, depending on the sport. Most sports though, I'd say. So I think sports is just great for everybody. It's good for your body, but it's also really good for your mind.
Well said. I agree. Circling back to music, who were some of your influences when you were in the midst of going to Berkeley and Boston, and even as a teenager, entering into that phase of college and going to the next level? Who were some of the artists that you would, bump in the whip, or just, you could not stop, it was on repeat, whether it's hip hop, jazz, R&B, probably a little bit of everything.
I got you. Yeah. Well, definitely a little bit of everything. My music taste is very eclectic because my dad's is. And so, growing up, like I said, it was a lot of Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, Sammy Davis Jr., like a lot of the greats in the jazz world, Coltrane, love Coltrane, Charlie Parker, all of that. I used to transcribe them and their songs and solos and everything, and use that for my own education at Berkeley. But DJ Quick, man,
shout out to Quick
again,
the legend.
And it's crazy because some of my friends were just in the studio with him, and I was like, y'all know how big of a fan I am, and you didn't tell me. Fake. But yeah, so I love DJ Quick. He's one of my favorite producers. I really like, Warren G. I love the West Coast G-Funk.
Right.
I love Ice Cube. I really
so
love
dope.
Ice Cube.
Legend.
Yeah, and a lot of his songs, the lyrics are just so wonderful, and I love how it's storytelling in hip hop, like the way that he tells a story and brings you along. Like even the song Ghetto Bird, like I love that song because it just brings you along, and I think his way of conveying his thoughts is really intelligent, and I love how that's juxtaposed with the hip hop, I think it's just really awesome.
Yeah, Cube is dope. Shout out to Ice Cube. Cube, if you watching or somebody on Cube's team is watching, we need you on the show, bro. I'm a big supporter of the Big Three. He's always making power moves, so shout out to Ice Cube, the Big Three, and his new recently dropped album. I mean, Cube has always delivered fire. And, there's another Friday coming. He made that announcement, so I can't wait. But keep shining, King. Keep building. Shout out to Ice Cube, the legend, the Don Mega.
Hell yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people. I could go through my my playlist. Oh, man.
On the R&B side.
Oh, the R&B side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, there's a lot. Now I'm blanking. I got to go through my playlist.
No, it's all good.
Oh,
it's all good.
Yeah, I know. Well,
so many dope artists out there.
There are, and I have my entire playlist, but now I was in the jazz and then I was in the hip hop.
Yeah.
And I got to think about the R&B, but I definitely love R&B. Yeah, I'd say I love Aaliyah. Okay. But everybody, loves.
What about Rihanna?
Rihanna's great. I think she has a really dope vibe, and I think her confidence is infectious. And I love that. I love that whenever she steps on stage, you're going to get fed with that, bad bitch energy.
Yeah.
All of that. I think women love that. I think it's so dope. Rihanna is really, really cool. She's just cool.
Right.
You know,
right,
she's dope.
Right. What about Beyonce? She's right behind you.
Yeah, Beyonce's great. I think I think there's bigger Beyonce fans out there, than me. But her vocals, I mean, unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's really wonderful. I think I love a lot of her older stuff.
Right.
I love her song Diva.
Okay. Right. Rocking.
You know, like all that. So I love that song. I love her energy as well. Yeah, and I've loved seeing like concert clips of her actually on stage recently with her daughter, bringing her daughter in and kind of.
That's dope.
And one of my pianists, she actually toured with Beyonce on her Formation tour. And she also toured with Stevie Wonder. Her name's Victoria Theodore, and she and I have been working together since Oakland. And she spoke so highly about Beyonce and her work ethic.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'll always keep in my mind when I think about Beyonce, is everything that my pianist told me about her and how she works, and how when they were preparing for the tour, she was the first one to get there and the last one to leave. Like, she was there through everything, grinding.
Right. The work ethic is real.
You love to hear it with somebody who's like on that level, when you hear that they're actually there grinding it out with their musicians, like in the trenches of creation.
Yeah.
Like, you just have nothing but respect.
All respect, all day long. That's dope.
Right?
You're so talented, and I'm really inspired by your story, right? Because it's a great one. Any other ventures in entertainment that you may want to explore down the road, whether it's acting, maybe producing, or I know you produce music, but as far as like television, any film and TV endeavors, anything like that?
Yeah, so
book. I mean, you've got a book, you've got a story right here.
Definitely. I actually was thinking about that. I've had multiple people who are directors come up to me, and they get a little soundbite of my story, and they're like, there's a really great concept here. And so, as I talk about myself and my story to people, the idea keeps coming up of, a movie, and I love that. Yeah. I also act, and I've been a dancer since I was, a kid too. I was in ballet. I did point for a little while, and then I moved into hip hop and, all of that kind of dancing as well. Broadway. I love Broadway. Yeah. So I want to be on Broadway at some point, but
that would be dope.
So like acting, I definitely want to do acting. And then as I release more music, and I'm in the creative process for music videos, I want to show off my dancing, because a lot of people don't know that I get down.
Okay.
I get down.
You got some boogie woogie in you.
I get down.
You got the B-dub. You got the boogie woogie.
Yep,
okay, I'm not mad at
both.
it. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So I just want to show all of that off, and acting's a really big part of me as well. So I'd love to do that.
Right. Well, I'm right there for you. I believe in you. Nothing but love and respect with what you're doing. For everybody watching the show, let them know where they can tap in, all the fans or future fans, where they can connect with Nelly Candy Bug.
Yeah.
Whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever, let them know what's happening, where they find you.
Yeah, so Nelly Candy Bug on pretty much all platforms. That's going to be Instagram, and then TikTok is going to be Nelly Candy Bug as well. Facebook, Nelly Candy Bug. Yeah, just all across the platforms. YouTube, you can search me as Nelly Ake, A-K-E, my real last name,
You bringing pain to the game, baby. Yeah. Pain to the game.
I love it.
Yeah. Now, how did you come up with the name? Okay, we got to go back. Okay.
The Candy Bug.
Nelly Candy Bug. Okay, I love it. Now, how did that come about?
Yeah, so it really random. So when I was creating a Facebook, when I was in 5th grade, it was like, what do I want my name to be? And my nickname with my family is Bug. Because when I was a baby, when my parents tickled me, I like curled up like a little bug, and they'd just call me Bug. I'm very ticklish. And so that's how Bug came about. And then Candy, because I was a candy fiend as a kid. Oh my God, I loved candy. Every time the ice cream truck came around, I was like, you will not miss me.
Double fisted.
Oh man. I was getting all like the Mexican candies. I was getting all the like Lucas, the tamarind candies, everything, the Skittles, I loved candy. And so when I was making my Facebook when I was 5th grade, I was like, Nelly Candy Bug. And then people just started calling me Candy Bug. And
That's
they're
dope.
like, oh, that's cool. I've never heard that before. So then when I was thinking of an artist name, people had already known me like through middle school, high school, college as Nelly Candy Bug.
Right.
So I kept it.
That's dope.
It's random, but it's unique, you know? And it's all different parts of me. It's, you know, my nickname with my family. Apparently my passion for my sweet tooth, which I still have.
Yeah.
You know? All of it.
Right. I love it. And for those who are watching the show, make sure you tap in with your boy Mack B, at Mack B, MACK, B as in boy, _, at Sports Hop Media, all one word, Sports Hop Media. We appreciate the love and the support. We growing, we grinding, we building. We got Nelly Candy Bug on the couch. Episode 60 is in the books. Holla at your boy. Keep it locked. Thanks for watching Sports Hop. For all the latest news on hip hop and sports, subscribe here and keep it locked. It's your boy Mack B.